Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new series on the channel. Welcome to our little Capron Park Zoo recreation. I am joined here by the always wonderful Mr. Nicholas Linerider. How about you introduce yourself, my friend?
Of course. Hello, everybody. It's me. It's Nick. So I have basically come to the conclusion with Leaf that Roger Williams is ending soon, and so naturally we were like, we should probably do another New England Zoo recreation, and I wanted to do it with Leaf this time. So Leaf and I are gonna split up the workload. So we're gonna start a little bit early, I guess, because technically Roger Williams is still wrapping up. But yeah, I mean, you definitely got started, and like this is awesome. So he is doing the beginning. So I'll let you kind of talk about what you did.
Yeah, so I think it was a few months ago. This was before Southeast Asia, right?
Yes.
When we started this? Yeah, so around that time when that came out, we both went to Capron Park Zoo together, and then we were, like, at the end of the park. It's a nice, small, quaint zoo. Our buddy Dill works there, too. And at the whole end of it, I was like, damn, I really want to recreate this. And I think you were, too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like we had a blast. I took Julie, and so we all met up, and yeah, we really loved Capron. I've never been there, and it was really, really nice. And so we were kind of blown away, and we were like, yeah, it's nice because especially like Roger Williams or Mystic or something, like my other recreations were like really daunting because they're really big parks. What I liked about Capron was it's a small park and it's got some cool animals in a nice compact area, so it was like a lot more manageable. And so like especially like, if the two of us worked together on it, it would be a lot more easy to accomplish the task of finishing the actual technique. I love your little mock lemur you have right there.
Oh, yeah, gotta keep that scale in mind, you know? But, yeah, like, I don't know, right when you get to Capron, it just automatically hits you with this beautiful lemur island. And, like, granted, there's a few other exhibits that you actually get to first, but you can see this stuff, like, right from the parking lot.
That's
But,
true, yeah.
I don't know, it's just such a really cool idea. I know, like, a lot of other zoos do it, but no zoo around here really has, like, islands for their animals. And I was like, damn, I gotta recreate this as soon as I get home, so this is pretty much me doing like all the small detail work. And by the way, I'm definitely gonna go ham on the detail work in the zoo because I had so much fun even just getting like these electrical boxes in here. I don't know, it's just really fun to kind of focus on these small tiny details and bring them to life. Going the full Goron mode with this one. I'm probably not doing like the art piece signs, but
I'll do them.
Yeah,
I'll
perfect.
do them.
We'll see when we get there. But yeah, black and white rough lemurs. So I guess we should probably talk about those two since, kind of a modding breakthrough, I would say.
That's true. Yeah, because
go for
it's
it.
it is another. So that's gonna be the other thing. Is obviously every animal that's in Capron isn't in the base game. So it's gonna be another series. We're gonna have to mod a lot of animals, and so obviously the two modding kings, of course, would take care of it. And so what we did was we took one of my very first mods, which was the black and white ruffed lemur, which is what Capron has, and we worked together until we got the first ever new species lemur mod in place.
And I do want to give a big ol' shout out to Jasper for that. So he was originally the person to actually unlock that. He did it all by himself. He didn't even need NDP to help him because like the day before he figured that out, I figured out the tortoise one. And that's how we got the red-footed tortoise, which we actually do need for this recreation too. This is just like mini Roger Williams, honestly. But no, Jasper was able to figure that out all on his own. And since that, we kind of like started a lemur pack.
That's true. We do have basically like at least a dozen lemurs. Like it's a lot of lemurs that we've been able to create using that as a basis. But yeah, that is a good point that like Capron is mini Roger Williams because all of the New England zoos have the same weird animals. We all have the same red-footed tortoises and red-rumped agouti, and so like the beauty of it is obviously I made a lot of weird animals for Roger Williams. Stuff that for most zoos would be absolutely pointless. Most people wouldn't ever use them. But in the case of like Capron or something, or like, you know, if we ever got to another New England Zoo recreation, they'd actually be super useful because we all have the same stuff. We all have the same kind of sloths. We all have the same kind of monkeys and stuff of that nature. You know, the golden lion tamarin, for instance, we all have. And so obviously Capron's gonna have a handful of unique animals. But the other plus of this series is we're doing it a lot later in the game for modding, where I don't really think there's that many animals left that we'd have to mod that would be difficult to take care of. Like, you recently did the sloth bear, and that's going to take care of one of the big headaches that would have arose. Murgy has the serval done. Meerkats are in the base game.
Same with
Fennec
the
Fox
Cuvier's dwarf caiman.
So is the Fennec Fox. Like, yeah, like, it's just... It was the perfect zoo for what we wanted next. And so I'm very, very excited to be doing this. And yeah, you're doing awesome. Like, I do love all the detail work and stuff, because the beauty... It's the beauty and the pain that comes with realistic one-to-one recreations like this. Is you need to pay extreme attention to detail for it to look authentic. But it is absolutely hell to, like, you know, go through and, you know, work on it. But it's super rewarding in the end once you finish it, and then you essentially have a virtual version of the zoo, which, you know, is totally functional. Your animals will, like, move around like they normally would. You can walk around the entire area. You can, you know, look at cams or something. It's really useful, especially, like, you know, if you like the zoo or something and just want a little, like, virtual version of it. So that's why I do like recreations. And so, yeah, Capron's just going to be a really fun one. Plus, it just makes the most sense because it's other than Roger Williams, the second closest zoo to all of us.
And so we could get easy reference of it. I gotta give a big ol' shout out to Dill. Hi, Dill, if you're listening. So he definitely was such an instrumental part with the Lemur Islands in particular, because he actually does work there, and he's able to get us some reference from angles that we're not able to achieve. Because, like, even currently, we're not able to go out on, like, the little boardwalk that I don't think I put it in yet, but I will put it in soon. You'll probably see it come across the screen. But there's just different angles of the Lemur Island that I wasn't able to picture when we were there together. Yeah. But he was able to secure so much reference for me for that, so that was really amazing to have a little guy on the inside. I like to think of it as.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's gonna be like a big boon to us, is the ability that we're gonna be able to just whenever we need something, like, especially because Dill knows the rest of the keepers and stuff. And, like, I know, like, we've talked to Neil and stuff as well, who's another one of the keepers there. And so, like, yeah, the fact that we have some actual employees and stuff that we could contact if we had any questions or, like, you know, needed reference images at any time or something is super useful. And then even another thing that, like, you know, with all of these series, like Roger Williams and Mystic and stuff, I had to get a membership just to justify how many times I had to go there for reference. And the plus of Capron is it's very cheap, relative. It is dirt cheap to go. So I think it's a $40 membership, which is very cheap. Plus it has a dual membership deal with Buttonwood. If anyone else is in New England, I'm like giving an advertisement for Capron Park right now, but they have a deal with Buttonwood, so you get membership to both of the small zoos in Massachusetts for the price of one, which is really nice. It's very close to Roger Williams, and, like, even if you go in person, it's how much did you pay at the door for the three of us?
I think less than, like, it had to be less than 30.
Yeah, like, it was probably like $10 a ticket or less. Like, I think it's even less if you're a Attleboro
resident.
Yeah. Like, it's like $3 or something. Like,
which is insane because they have such rare species. Like, black and white ruffed lemurs alone, they're critically endangered. You're not, I mean, granted, they're kind of common in zoos, but, like,
they are pretty common in zoos.
I don't know, just for the ticket price, you get to see lions, bears, some cats. I wouldn't necessarily... Actually, yeah, they have a couple big cats in there. You get to see all these creatures for, like, such a low price. That's just crazy. I don't know. I'm just surprised I haven't taken advantage of that place a lot more than I really have.
Exactly. Like, this year, specifically, has been like a huge year for me for like zoos and stuff, because I've through Planet Zoo in meeting you and like Dill and other people and stuff, I've widened my zoo range, I guess. I've widened my eyes to like other zoos, especially like around here. Like, I didn't realize how many zoos New England actually had, mostly because for the most part, like, I was always just kind of a general zoo guy. So the big ones that were on my radar were obviously Roger Williams and Southwick's, because they are the kings. Like, it was just, oh yeah, you want to go to the zoo? Oh well, what are you expecting to see? Elephants and giraffes and zebras and stuff of that nature. So you went to one of those two. Or if you did want to go see big cats or something, you went to Southwick's, because they have lions, tigers, leopards, etc., all in one place. But the plus of all of these other zoos, be it Stone or Beardsley or Buttonwood or Capron, they all have these they all basically have at least one major animal, I'd say. Mm-hmm. Like, in the case of Capron, they have lions. That's a pretty big thing. Like, they do have lions, which is a big deal for New England. Like, you know, a few places have them, but not many. I also did you notice I like totally forgot about Franklin when I mentioned that? Like,
oh my, yeah, I feel like a lot of people forget about Franklin. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest.
It's funny because like Franklin Park, I know it's like a little side tangent, but like Franklin Park is funny because it's a big zoo around here, but it's just not a good one. No, so I went there recently. I did not have the best time. And it's weird because they do have a lot of those big ticket animals like gorillas and lions and giraffes and stuff, but it's just not a very good zoo. So in a weird way, yeah, it's these little zoos like Capron or Stone or something. They're like kind of the like better choice, I'd say. Because it's a lot more, I think Dill said it best, where he was like, a lot of people find Capron to be a lot more personal because it's so small.
Yup. And that's something I really do want to talk about too. It's like the small zoo charm that like you and I have started to discover recently. I mean, you just went to San Diego, but you know, yeah, that's true. A completely different experience when you go to like Buttonwood, when you go to Capron, when you even go to Roger Williams in some cases. It's just like a small zoo charm that you don't really get anywhere else.
Exactly. Like, you know, for a while, like I said, all my life I went to the big ones. Like my zoo experience was always, you know, the big dogs, Bronx, San Diego, National, stuff like that. And so, yeah, going to like a zoo that like, a good example is I just recently went to Stone. Mm-hmm. Stone doesn't have any major animals. It doesn't have any African animals other than colobus monkey, for instance.
Wow.
So that's a big deal. Their Asian collection is a handful of animals. They have snow leopards, which I guess are, you know, semi-big, I'd say. And they have American black bear. But the majority of their collection is strictly North American animals. So they have, or North and South American. So they have a large collection, and they have some bigger animals like mountain lion and jaguar and stuff. But the majority are going to be the smaller, you know, more niche stuff like bush dog or Chicoan peccary or American flamingo. Stuff that is rare around here. I mean, bush dogs are rare in general. But for the general public, they probably wouldn't really like to go to Stone.
A funny Wolverine-looking thing, you know?
Yeah, it's just like, oh, that's a dog. Like, everyone was saying that, like, oh, look at the little dog. And that's, you know, and they didn't really care. But obviously in the zoo community, it'd be like, oh my god, bush dogs? That's super rare. But yeah, for the general public, they don't really care. They want it. There was like, my Uber driver on the way over there was like, oh, wait, yeah, that zoo's not the best. It doesn't, I was looking for lions and giraffes and monkeys, and they don't have any of that. And yeah, that is that kind of thing. But small zoos, what they lack in animals or whatever, they usually do make up for in either habitat design. Like Stone has phenomenal theming.
I remember you showing me pictures of that place. Like, that's one of the only New England zoos I haven't been to like ever. And I definitely, like, after seeing you go, I definitely do want to take a trip up there because, I don't know, what you're able to achieve with, like, such a small little area, you gotta make up for in, like, theming and stuff, and, like, the small mineshaft town kind of vibes that you guys have going on up there. that's insane to see, especially for like a South American area. That's very unique. I know some people in our little circle aren't really the biggest fan of that, but I love that. But I don't know.
It's funny,
It's
like in our little friend group, everyone loves the bar mill style stuff, and like that's a zoo that actually did it. Like worked in like a bar mill / minor town into their
I'll
zoo
admit,
exhibit.
I even have Beyond Wolf Nature Preserve live stream going on right behind the screen right now. And I don't know, it's just that bar mill kind of vibes that, I don't know, I'm just very excited to see that. But, you know, that's all Stone Zoo. This is Capron. Speaking of Capron, I love how well this little bridge thing came out, I guess.
Yeah, I do love that too. That looks really good.
I really did want to like connect it all together, but it just wouldn't work. I guess I could have used like the rope pieces too, but I don't know. You're going to be standing from like the bridge anyway, so you won't really see it too well.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, I know we we just went on like a little thing about stone. I will say about Capron though, what I liked about Capron was I had a much more enjoyable experience because it's a very small zoo, and so especially when we went, it was barely populated. Like there was no guess. It was we basically, the three of us had the run of the zoo. We could do whatever we want. But because of that, you could definitely tell a lot of the animals were like excited to see us. They came right up to the fence or the glass or whatever. And, like, yeah, some of the smaller animals, like, I know the serval and stuff, which, by the way, I can't wait to do that episode, because they have they have a little 3-legged serval, and it's the cutest little thing.
We gotta ask Mayor G about permission to mutilate it.
yeah, so that we could get the little, because I remember Julie went, like, oh my god, it's a little tripod serval, and, like, Leaf and I at first thought it was, like, a subspecies, not realizing, oh, it has 3 legs, that's the reason. But yeah, it was so the serval came right up to us. The meerkats we watched for like ages.
Vicky the sloth bear.
The sloth bear is awesome. The leopard came right up to us. The red panda. They have this awesome viewing area. Like, I'm just so excited about the series because there's a lot of little details and stuff that make this zoo awesome. Because it's a little on the cheaper side from what, you know, people probably would consider, but like it kind of adds to the value because for it not being a very expensive zoo or anything, they really do try to work in the detail. It comes off very cheesy, and I can't wait to add the cheese factor into this. Like, all the bad murals,
all this like red stone. They have one red stone in like the middle of the circle island. We haven't even gotten to the circle island yet.
That's true, yeah.
It's just all that kind of like tackiness, the faux rocks. I love it. And like, I know a lot of people hate on like the lion exhibit. For instance, I know Emily was like very turned off when we were talking about going to Capron, because she was like, oh, you're gonna go there, it's not really that good for the animals. But like, when you actually get there, it's pretty damn good for a lot of the animals, I'm gonna be honest. Even like the lions, from what you look at for pictures, the space just doesn't, you don't get that same impact of space that you do when you actually get to go there, because the lions have a lot of space over there. The sloth bear has a lot of space. The lemurs have a ton of space on that island.
I totally agree. Well, because I think the big thing is obviously something like the lion or the sloth bear exhibits are not up to code by modern AZA standards, and I know Capron acknowledges that, and they say like, yep, that's, you know, obviously these lions, we're gonna like let them, you know, live out their lives and stuff. Before we even consider, you know, something like a major plan or something, if we wanted to keep lions or something. But what I like about it is, what I like about what this series could do, it'll give a 3-dimension to the zoo that you're not going to get from Zoo Chat. That you're like, because as an example, when I was looking at the Zoo Chat images or Google images of the lion habitat prior to going myself to Capron, I had no point of reference for what the lion habitat was going to be like. I had no idea. I thought it was going to be this flat box or something. No, it's actually on a corner of like a little bit of a hill. And it's got a trench in it and stuff that, again, the images don't show. It has grass in it that they don't show. Like, there's a lot of stuff that, like, you don't initially see just because people like to take pictures of the lion. Ramses is his name. He's the white lion. he just hangs out on the rock usually. So they take pictures of that, and you're like, oh my god, what is this? This lion just has a rock to sit on. But it's like, no, he chooses to go there. He has a lot of other room. He just doesn't use it, really. And so, like, I think that is kind of an aspect that I really like about what we'll be able to do with the series, as long as we do it justice. Like, don't, wreck the habitats or something and make them weird or something. But you'd be able to, like, get a really good idea of what it actually is like layout-wise and stuff, instead of just looking at images. You could get this whole 3D view for reference and stuff. But I guess, yeah, so we're finally on the circular habitat.
Oh,
so I've...
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead.
No, you.
Oh.
No, you.
No, you. Go ahead. What I was going to say was, originally, Leaf didn't he thought that both islands were the same shape. I had to point out that one of them is a circle, the other is a square. So I just found that funny that, like, yeah, like, at first, he was like, oh yeah, it should be easy. I could just copy all of this. And I'm like, yeah, the issue is one of them's a circle. It's like a totally different shape. But you really don't notice it.
But, like, most of the stuff just carries over, like, all the climbing structures and stuff. That was super easy to just copy over, and I'm so happy I spent, like, such a long amount of time on the first island. I was able to make the second island look really good without, like, that much amount of time. I don't know. I'm just happy with how that came out. So
I mean, it definitely looks really good.
Yeah, thank you. So on the circle island, we have the red ruffed lemurs, and on the square island, we have the black and white ruffed, and yeah, it's just really nice.
I also am really glad that, like, this was post the water update, so you could actually change the color of the water, because that is nice that you can get, like, different, like, murkiness colors and stuff, because it does vaguely look in real life like there's, like, dye in the water or something to make it look deeper than it is.
Green tealish.
Yeah, and so, like, you got that really good idea from it, like, by actually seeing it here. You did such a good job with, like, the little details of, like, all the climbing frames, like, you could definitely tell that Leaf was very inspired by this, just because, like, I'm looking at him, like, still amazed by, like, all the little details and stuff.
And it helps that, like, I got so much reference of the Lemur Islands themselves, because I am a little nervous about, like, the whole central area, like, with the emus and the otters and stuff like that, because I'm not sure about you, but I didn't get too much reference of that. So I'm honestly considering going back this weekend to get some more pictures.
So here's the funny thing. I was debating going back this weekend as well.
Oh my gosh, let's go.
So I would be fine with that if you want to go. Because I know Julie was asking for it, because Julie really loves Capron too. Like, I think Julie loves Capron more than Roger Williams, which is funny.
I mean, and we gotta talk about this too, because it's so much more digestible of a zoo. Like, sure. I'm not sure how to describe it, but even after Southwick's, we did, like, I'd say a third of the zoo, went on the Skytram, and then we were done for the whole day. We still did everything else, but it was just, you could tell in each other, like, we were tired. We exhausted. I didn't even know how to describe it. Capron, we did 2 laps, and I was ready to do a third. I'm not sure about you, but...
No, exactly, yeah. That was the nice part of it, was just, because it's a quick thing that's not exhausting or anything. Southwick's, or... I won't really say... I think Roger Williams is the right level for what it is. It is definitely a good one lap zoo that will not make you tired when you're done. Yep. Southwick's is a little too big, where once you get to, I'd say, the second half of the zoo, you're kind of exhausted. You're like, yep, yeah, look, oh, yeah. Which is a shame, because, like, in Southwick's case, we're just jumping all over New England right now. Yeah, it's fine. But with Southwick's, the second half has a lot of the, like, bigger ticket animals, like your rhinos, lion, tiger, leopard, etc. And by the time you get there, you're just kind of like, yeah, okay, that's a lion. Okay, oh, look, it's a rhino. Yeah, cool. Versus like when you first come into the zoo, there's so many like small primate species or bird species or something, and you just want to stop and look at all of them and spend some time and stuff.
And that's why I love,
Oh, I was like, I love that you're just flipping through all of like the horrible walls and stuff, trying to find like a good one.
Big old shout out to Haribo for this. Like without those rocks, we couldn't have gotten like that bank to look good. But I guess like, I'm not sure. That's probably like the best way we could have done that. I have it open in like my other computer right now, and it looks pretty good. It looks fine, gets the job done. But no, what I was gonna say was Capron Park. That's another thing that I love about Capron Park, is that it's that perfect roller coaster of animal species. So you start off nice and easy with lemurs, kangaroos, otters. That's all nice hunky dory. You gotta love
standard
them.
Zoo stuff.
Yeah, and then it hits you with a bang sloth bear, bang leopard, bang lion. And then it backs off for a little bit, and then you go through like, you see the cranes, you see like some more monkeys, and then you go into the tropical house. And I would like determine the tropical house as its own bank factor, just because I don't know. I've always been a sucker for interiors in zoos, and just true. Having it that is a nice.
It is a. I don't know if Roger Williams is gonna listen to this. Better than Faces. Their little tiny tropical house. It's better than Faces of the Rainforest. In my opinion, it's a small room relative to like our giant, multi-million-dollar greenhouse, but it's weirdly better. It's a lot like, oh look, you can get a lot closer to the different bird species. They have a Cuvier's dwarf caiman, which is pretty cool. I've never seen a Cuvier's before.
Yeah, me either. He's missing an eye. That's something that we should probably mention too. Like, half of the animals are just broken at Capron, and I love it. It gives them so much personality.
So, because Dill has explained this to us, that what Capron is, they act as basically a retirement home for a lot of zoo animals. So they get a lot of old or injured zoo animals or something to just kind of live out the rest of their days in. So it's a lot of geriatric animals and stuff of that nature. Like as an example, like their Debrazas came from Bronx because they were just too old, and so they're just living out their days at Capron. Similarly, like Capron's gotten in the past like different types of big cats and stuff of that nature. And like, and you can definitely just tell, like, a lot of the animals have little minor, they're injuries, but, like, it's not, like, because they live in captivity or anything. It's just stuff that happened over time. Like, the fennec fox, when we went, was going, I think it had, like, some sort of infection or something, so it was, like, part of my appearance, like, it's kind of cute that they had, like, a sign up that said, like, part of my appearance, I'm not the cutest looking fennec fox right now, because they had to, like, like, shave it a little bit so that it could, like, obviously have, like, some stitches put in, or, like, I'm not even sure what the treatment was for, to be honest. Maybe one of the keepers could, like, explain that or something. But basically, it was going through some medical procedure at the time, and, like, they were like, don't mind me. I'm like, I'm just a little raggy right now. Please don't, be turned off by that.
It's so polite for, like, pardon my appearance.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, I think it comes from the perspective of a lot of people would look at that and be like, ew, look at that. It's a little mangy rat dog. What is that? And, like, it's like, no, it's a cute little fennec fox. He's just going through it. He's just got some, like, some medical stuff going on.
I do have to give a quick shout out to Crocs as well. You'll find his channel in the description right down below. He did make these boats for us.
That is true, yeah. So,
and I just love the idea of, like, taking a boat out to work with the
island to go
stuff.
feed them.
It's so cute.
Yeah. Because I was thinking that too. I was like, so how do they feed them? So apparently what they do is, if you're one of the lead lemur keepers, you go out on this little dinghy and you have to pedal out to the actual islands to go feed or take care of the lemurs or whatever, which is just really funny to me. Because I don't think correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the pool is that deep. I think it's like maybe like 6-7 feet deep.
No,
or
I think Dill said it's actually quite shallow.
Yeah, so it's not actually that bad, but like obviously you don't want to swim or anything, so they have like a little boat, which is kind of nice. So I'm interested in this. So this is that was basically the habitats. But you did such a cool job. So this is the splash pad. So I'll let you
the McDonald's
talk about
splash pad. So I guess we can have Dill later on when we actually do get to the Lions talk about like the whole deal behind Capron Park and McDonald's and stuff like that. But essentially this was a defunct, not really defunct, it never was turned off, you know? It was a McDonald's splash pad, and you actually mentioned this when we were actually there. You were like, huh, this is oddly like a McDonald's. And then these two old ladies on like their morning walk or whatever, they're like, yeah, it was a McDonald's. And you were like, damn, I was right, yeah. But I don't know, it's just like a bunch of classic zoo architecture things. Like we have this little elephant face, we have a bee, we have a lion, and it's just like all a bunch of splash pad things. And I don't know, it's just really fun to build.
I love the derpy face you gave him too.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty great because they basically like the reason I kind of acknowledged it is, and I know we'll probably get to this in a second because Leaf had like the most ingenious idea on how to do what I'm talking about, but the reason I knew it was based off of like a McDonald's or something is because they had that kind of foam material, like ground, that you would find at a McDonald's play area in like the 2000s. I know really McDonald's really don't have play areas anymore. At least in recent years, like I know since they kind of like modernized and like they changed the color scheme from like the red and yellow to like that like brownish color, like the McCafe modern art aesthetic and stuff. They don't really have the kind of like play areas anymore. But as soon as I like got to Capron and we like started walking on the splash pad, it was turned off at the time because we were just walking through it. I was like, this feels familiar, and I'm like, I think it reminds me of like the McDonald's play area. And then when we were discussing how Leaf was going to accomplish that kind of terrain, we were trying to like figure out what would be the best way to do it. And then I think you're doing it right now, right? We were trying, or actually,
oh no, this is a parking lot. It's very all over the place, I admit.
But when we get back to the splash pad, basically what we were trying to figure out is what would be a good material to use for that kind of spongy flooring. So we were thinking, okay, maybe we could use plaster, maybe some of the floor pieces could work, like primitive pieces really weren't an option because there's no texture to them or anything. And there wasn't anything really good. So I know this is a little bit of a spoiler, but ultimately what Leaf ended up doing, which I thought was ingenious, he used the waterfall pieces, the ones that came from the aquatic pack, and basically flipped them on their side so that they have the flat kind of faux rock texture, and it's flexicolor obviously. But it basically had this kind of accidental, but really like accidentally genius idea of, since it's the waterfall, it has little like water particle effects that splash on the surface occasionally, which ultimately leads it so that it like looks like it's a splash pad, like it's actually constantly having water like trickle down onto it and splash off the ground and stuff.
And can I just say about that, I feel like I'm maybe on a list somewhere from looking up so much like splash pad videos and stuff like that, because I had to go digging for reference, because obviously like that's not something I'm going to take a picture of when we're at the zoo, because we had no intention of recreating it. So I kind of had to go through like Instagram and Facebook trying to find any video I could of the splash pad for reference. And here I am actually like finishing it up, but I don't know. Eventually we got it all to look good, and that's all I care about.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret as a veteran of this realistic zoo recreation type thing. You're gonna have to do a lot of that. You're gonna find references in the weirdest places. Now, luckily, like we said, we have Dill or Neil or something who could provide us reference images if we ask. However, and yeah, you can definitely see here he was like experimenting with, that's like the new Africa pack wood, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so he was messing with it. But here we go. So this was the genius idea. So it gets just the right level of like spongy texture that looks really good. And like I said, like as you can see, it like splashes occasionally, which is really nice. But yeah, when it comes to getting reference images, exactly like right there, you're going to be looking on Flickr, you're going to be looking on Shutterstock, you're going to be looking on people's Instagrams. You're just going to type in Capron Park Zoo and find Facebook groups or something where families are going to be taking photos, but oh look, they got a really clear shot at this one particular wall that you needed images of. Like, it's it is creepy, I'm not going to lie. It seems weird.
It pays
but
off, though.
It pays off because you can get it as accurate as possible in the end. And so, yeah, I definitely think that you did a good job getting the splash pad right. Like, I'm honestly kind of worried because, yeah, right now, presumably I'll probably do the second episode where I think I'll probably do the otter habitat. I think that would probably make
I mean,
the
you
most
have
sense.
your pick of the crop. You have your otters, emus, kangaroos, you have the entrance. We can really go anywhere you want.
Yeah, that's true. Because I'm thinking the otters would just make the most sense because they're next to this, so we could just kind of build off of that. But yeah, I'll have to see. Because I know for the otters, they have a lot of signage and stuff and like details in their habitat that, yeah, I would definitely need to go back and get some more images of. Because I just, like, I remember it, but since it's not like Roger Williams where I can fill in the blanks usually due to my memory because of how many times I've been there. Capron, I've been there the one time and the one time only.
That's about it, yep.
Yep, so for me, I just gotta, like, you know, figure out whatever. Like, this splash pad looks so cool. Like, honestly,
I love how well it came out.
Yeah,
like,
I love
there's
it. So,
some things that I wasn't able to achieve. Like, you see that little fountain piece right up there? That's, like, one of the jets that, like, kind of has, like, an umbrella kind of look to it, so I wasn't able to do that. But besides that, it's, like, no biggie. It all turned out really well in the end.
Yeah, like, where it, like, cascades down and stuff. Yep, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think that's a good alternative, though. You added, like, what is that? Like, the little splash effect.
Yep.
So it kind of gives the illusion of it. So that's pretty good. And yeah, I mean, you did this little area too, so that's kind of nice. Yeah. But yeah,
that's
I mean,
pretty much
we're wrapping up, right?
And I'm gonna have some like footage of the lemurs hopping around, like right afterwards. So we'll have that for all of our little friends. But thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry, Nick, I gotta cut you short right here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely do check out Nick's channel, Mr. Nicholas Line Rider. No, it's I am the Line Rider.
I am the Lion Rider.
Yep. How dare I,
Mr. Nicholas Lion Rider. That's my new channel. But yeah, I am the Lion Rider, and yeah, I am very excited for Capron. So new recreation series.
See you guys in episode 2. Bye bye.
Bye everyone.